Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About House. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
Okay, we're going to talk about how to get a tenant out of your rental house just before you sell it. Okay, because we got asked this question by an investor we're probably closing next week, and there was a tenant at the property.
Right.
But we went through this discussion. We'll explain the whole thing, why you would want to do it. But first, we got asked about Australia.
Woohoo!
So, as many of you know that follow the channel, we went to Japan for a couple weeks. We actually made a couple of videos for the channel in Japan with Japan in the background. But we did go to Australia, and we were asked for some photos,
I thought it
etc.
was like proof of life kind of thing,
Proof of life.
or proof of travel.
Proof of travel. So here's the first. Okay, the first one is this picture. The picture is it's the Steve Irwin Zoo, the Australia Zoo. It's about an hour and a half north of Brisbane, which is where we went. We took the train there, but what's cool is all those people that are with us. We flew there on a Dreamliner. It's the Boeing 787. They're the actual crew. Like, we actually went with the crew, got on the train, went with them, and like hung out with them at the zoo. It was super cool that we all got to do that with this airline crew. So that was kind of fun. The other fun thing was Oana petting the koala.
Yes.
She was very excited to pet the koala.
Oh my goodness, it's one of the coolest things I've ever done. So, how many of you out there have actually gotten a chance to pet a koala? Put that down in the comments, okay? And what did you feel that it felt like? I thought the koala was extremely soft and like cushiony, like downy almost. It was so cool. They weren't aggressive or anything. They were pretty much stoned on eucalyptus, and but they were very nice. And I got a chance to pet a koala. It was a good time.
Yeah, we got to pet. There were kangaroos. Just like it's a very. We've been to a lot of zoos, and of course, San Diego Zoo is probably one of our favorites. Is when I went to a lot as a kid because I live right by a couple miles away from the zoo. But this is probably the most organized zoo that I've ever seen, and it's not a huge zoo. You get through it in about 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, but it's very organized, it's very civilized, and it's all Australian animals.
Yes, we saw a Tasmanian devil, we saw all kinds of cool animals. There was this massive alligator. He was so massive, and he was sunning himself, and he had his mouth wide open because I think that's how they cool off.
Yeah.
So that was very cool. Just lots of animals. All the people that worked at the zoo were super nice and helpful, and told us about the animals and educated us, and it was really a good time.
Yeah, Brisbane was a very fun city.
Yes.
Okay, now let's talk about the tenants. Okay, here's the situation. When you have a house, say you're an investor and you have a tenant in the house, and if he's in the middle of a lease, generally, when the new person buys the house, they just can't throw them out of the lease.
Right. So the way it works in Nevada is the tenant gets to finish out the lease, right? So whether they've got 10 months or 2 months left on their lease, whatever it is, they get to finish out their lease. Well, if that's the case, it limits the buyer pool, right?
Yep.
Because buyers that are getting financing, their loan requirements usually are that they have to take occupancy, if they're purchasing as an owner-occupant, that they have to take occupancy of the property within 60 days. So if the tenant has, let's say, 6 months left on the lease, this is a problem because now that limits your buyer pool, so you can only entertain investor offers, not owner-occupant offers, because owner-occupants would have to take possession within 60 days, and they couldn't do that because there's a tenant in there for 6 months.
Okay. Another reason why you'd probably, like a lot of people wait till the tenant moves out, they get the place fixed up. Because it just automatically opens the thing up to more people.
Right.
And when you open it up to more people, you potentially get more money for it. Now, the other thing too is, remember, with investors, you tend to get more cash offers. So that's another good thing if you just target investors. So we'll talk about a couple ways to get the tenant out, okay? Does not involve bikers, okay? So stop it right there. We're not sending bikers over to the house. Okay.
Does not involve baseball bats or skunks. Although skunks
none of
might
that.
be interesting.
No. Okay. So these are all legitimate ways to do it. Okay. 1, check their lease. What could be in their lease that would allow the landlord to break the lease and have them move out early?
So some leases will have a clause that says something to the effect of, if the property is put up for sale, then the landlord has the option to terminate the lease with 30 days notice. So what that means is, hey, I'm thinking of my selling my property, so I notify my tenant, I'm going to put the property on the market for sale. I'm giving you 30 days notice. Once you move out, then I can go ahead and put the property up for sale and sell the property. So that might be one way. There might be other ways in the lease, maybe that would also allow the landlord to terminate the lease, maybe with 30 days notice for particular cause or no cause. So read your lease, because there could be something in there that's helpful to you.
Okay. What about just asking them?
Right.
If they're because it's possible that they're like, oh, I really found this other place and I really would like to move, but I'm stuck in this lease for 7 more months.
Right. So sometimes tenants are stuck in a lease and they would rather be somewhere else, and they don't want to break the lease because the lease reads that they are responsible for the entire duration of the lease. So if they leave, let's say 4 months early, they would still owe that 4 months of rent. So they might not want to break the lease because of that. So you don't know what's going on in their lives. So have a conversation, because it might work out both to your benefit and their benefit for them to leave early, and then you get a vacant property to sell and have a wider buyer pool.
Okay. Another option, cash for keys,
Right.
also known as relocation assistance, also known as some money.
Yes.
So how would that work?
So the way that works is you approach the tenant and say, hey, I would like to terminate the lease early. Maybe you have 6 months left on your lease. How about if I give you 2 months worth of rent for you to move out, and you don't have to pay this month's rent? So maybe in effect that works out to maybe 3 months worth of rent that you get to put in your pocket and find another place to live. And depending on a situation, again, the tenant might be amenable to that. Maybe they could use the cash. Maybe they could find another home that better fits their needs. You don't know until you have that conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those are, I think, there are certainly advantages to leaving the tenant in. Sometimes an investor likes the fact that there's a tenant and that they know they're going to get the income. In a market like Vegas that's super hot right now, all the rentals that we've managed, literally almost every one, as soon as we put it up for rent and we're reasonable about what we rent it for, they get rented pretty quickly.
They do get rented pretty quickly. Sometimes investors do want to start fresh, so maybe they would like to update the property so that they can get more rent for it. So that does happen. So even if there's a tenant in there and they're going to rent it out anyway, they might want that tenant out for their own reasons. So all kinds of reasons why people might want the tenant out, and all kinds of ways to get them out. It doesn't have to be an adversarial relationship. This can be a good situation for both the tenant and the landlord. So find something that works for all parties. Be fair, be reasonable, and if you have any questions, and if you'd like to sell a property in Vegas or anywhere else, please reach out to us. We would love to help you. Leave us your comments. We appreciate your real estate related comments. We appreciate your ideas for videos. A lot of the videos are from your suggestions, so we do appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed the Australia video. We enjoyed spending some time in Australia.
Yeah, that was fun. Brisbane, it's a great city. It's a super nice city.
Yes.
Actually, we're blown away by how nice it is.
It is super nice.
Yeah.
And then let us know if you would like us to do more on location videos from our travels. We will absolutely keep that in mind, and maybe we'll do more traveling and more videos in other locations.
Yeah, we did a whole bunch of videos. We did a Danube River cruise through Romania and Bulgaria and all that whole area, all the way up to Hungary. And we shot like 4 or 5 videos on the road.
We did.
Like on the boat, like with, Romania behind us as we're cruising down the road talking about something that happened in real estate or whatever.
Right. So kind of fun.
Yeah.
We will do more videos, and we will probably do another video before the 4th of July. So we will wish you a happy 4th of July when we get closer. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.